The group chat named High School Friends Forever was silent that night. Then, a notification appeared. The sender's name was Mean. But Mean had died 3 months ago. The screen's light glowed in the dark room. The soft ping of the message made Phi's heart pound. He slowly opened the chat. I miss everyone. Phi's fingers trembled. He swallowed hard. The only sound in his room was the quiet hum of the fan. Yet, it felt like someone else was breathing beside him. Another friend replied, "Who's messing around? Stop it. It's not funny." A new message appeared. I'm still here. Cold shivers ran through Phi's body. Sweat formed on his temples. He looked at the group photo in the chat. It was taken on their last trip before Mean died. But now, there was one extra shadow in the photo. A shadow no one remembered seeing before. Suddenly, Phi's phone screen went black. The lights in his room flickered. A message tone echoed again. But the screen stayed dark. He picked up his phone. The screen lit up by itself. There was a new message. Who removed me from the group? Then came a sound from behind him. 3 slow knocks on the door. Each one louder than the last. Phi turned around, his heartbeat roaring in his ears. He took a hesitant step closer. His hand shook. Sweat rolled down his back. The knocking stopped. Silence filled the air. Then, his phone chimed once more. I'm outside. Open the door. Mean's profile picture flashed on the screen. It showed her smiling. But now, the smile was changing, slowly twisting into something that was no longer human. The room's lights began to die out, one by one, until only the phone's glow remained, casting a pale light on the shadow of someone standing behind the door. Phi's breath caught in his throat. The shadow behind the door did not move. It stood there, silent, still, waiting. The phone in his trembling hand buzzed again. The screen flickered like it was struggling to stay alive. Another message appeared. Why did you leave me that night, Phi? His heart dropped. He could barely read the words through the blur of panic in his eyes. He whispered to himself, "It cannot be, she is gone, she is gone." But the air around him seemed to grow heavier, thicker, like invisible fingers wrapping around his chest. Every breath burned as though the room itself wanted to choke him. He turned toward the window, hoping for a sliver of moonlight, a sign of safety, but the night outside was black and endless. Even the streetlight that usually glowed outside his window was dead. Another vibration, another message. You all promised we would stay together forever. Phi's phone screen dimmed and brightened in quick flashes. Each flicker showed fragments of his reflection. His pale face, wide eyes, and behind him, something darker, taller, a shadow that did not belong. He spun around. Nothing. Just the faint creak of the door shifting on its hinges. He whispered, "Mean, if this is you, please stop." Then the sound came, a soft, low laugh. It did not come from his phone. It came from the other side of the door. The laugh turned into a whisper, drawn out and distorted, like a voice underwater. Open the door, Phi. You said you would never ignore me. His legs refused to move, but his hand rose slowly, almost against his will. He reached for the handle. The metal felt icy, as if it had been dipped in ice water. When his fingers touched it, he felt a pulse, a heartbeat, coming from the other side. He pulled his hand away, gasping. The heartbeat stopped. Silence again. The phone vibrated one more time. A photo appeared in the chat. It was a picture of his room, taken from the outside of the door. The caption read, "Can I come in now?" Phi dropped the phone. It hit the floor, but the screen stayed lit. The typing bubble appeared. 3 dots. Then another message. I brought everyone with me. At that moment, his phone started buzzing uncontrollably. The group chat filled with names. One by one, each name belonged to a friend who had died over the years. Tan, Beam, Knock. Even teachers who had passed away appeared in the chat. Each of them began to send messages. Long time no see, Phi. Do you still remember us? Join us again. The screen glowed brighter and brighter until it illuminated the entire room. Then, every single message stopped at once. The final message came from Mean. Look behind you. Phi froze. He could hear something. Soft footsteps. Bare feet sliding across the floor. He did not want to turn. Every instinct screamed at him to run, to break the door, to jump from the window. But his body felt locked in place. The air grew colder. He could see his breath now, misty and pale. The smell of damp earth filled the room, mixed with the faint scent of burning incense. A whisper brushed past his ear. "You left me alone that night, remember?" He gasped, spinning around. And there she was, Mean, or what used to be Mean. Her hair was wet, dripping with black water that stained the floor. Her skin was pale, almost translucent. Her eyes, wide, hollow, and endlessly dark, stared into his. Her lips twisted into that same distorted smile from the profile picture. "Why did you run?" she whispered. "You said you would help me that night. You promised." Phi stumbled backward, his back hitting the wall. I tried to save you," he shouted, voice breaking into tears. Her expression did not change. She stepped closer. Each step left a wet footprint that steamed as it touched the floor. "Then why did you leave me in the river?" The memory flooded back. That stormy night, the old bridge, the laughter, the dare, the fall. He had run for help. But by the time he returned, Mean's body had already disappeared into the current. His throat tightened. He could barely speak. I thought you were gone." "I was," she said softly. "But the current brought me back." She raised her hand slowly, pale fingers trembling. Something dark dripped from her wrist. Water, or blood, he could not tell. "Now it is your turn to stay with me." Phi tried to move, to scream, but his voice was gone. The lights flickered again, and the room was filled with the sound of rushing water, as if the river itself had returned to swallow everything. The phone on the floor began to vibrate violently. The screen showed a flood of unread messages, lines and lines of text appearing too fast to read. Then it stopped. The final message appeared, this time from an unknown number. "Welcome to the group, Phi." He looked up. The room was no longer his room. The walls shimmered like liquid. The air smelled of river mud. And standing all around him, half submerged in invisible water, were faces, familiar faces. Smiling, pale, silent. Mean stood in the middle. She extended her hand. "Now we can all stay together," she said, her voice echoing as though from underwater. Phi reached out without meaning to. The cold water touched his fingers. Then it rose to his chest, his neck, his face. The last thing he saw was Mean's smile, calm, cold, endless. The phone screen on the floor flickered one last time, displaying the group's new name. Friends Forever, all online. Then everything went dark. But in the silence, from somewhere deep inside the phone, a single notification pinged again, and a new message appeared in the chat. "Who's next to join?" The water around Phi began to shimmer, turning from murky black to a pale, silvery glow. The faces that once stared at him, blank and hollow, started to fade one by one, like mist dissolving under morning light. Mean still stood before him. Her eyes, once empty, now softened. "Do you see now?" she whispered, her voice calm, almost human again. "We never wanted revenge, we just wanted to be remembered." Phi's chest tightened with guilt and sorrow. Tears blended with the cold air, falling into the invisible river that surrounded him. He whispered, "I never forgot you, Mean, I just could not face what happened." She smiled faintly, a real smile this time, gentle and sad. "Then let go, Phi. Tell them the truth. Let us rest." A rush of wind swept through the space, and the shimmering water began to fall away. The room reappeared, the desk, the flickering lamp, the half-open door. Everything was back, but strangely, everything also felt quieter. Phi blinked, and the phone lay still on the floor. No light, no notifications. The chat, gone. He picked it up with trembling hands. The group name, Friends Forever, all online, had disappeared. Only the empty title, Untitled Chat, remained. No members, no messages. He stared at it for a long time, listening to the silence. The night felt heavier, but not as cruel. He took a deep breath, walked to the window, and opened it. The cool night air touched his face, and for a brief moment, he thought he heard laughter. Soft, distant, fading like a memory carried by the wind. Days later, Phi visited the riverbank where it all began. He brought white flowers and a single phone charm. The one Mean had dropped that night. He placed it gently on the water's edge. The current carried it away slowly, glinting under the sunlight, and just before it disappeared, Phi saw something in the reflection. 5 familiar faces, smiling. Mean stood among them, waving goodbye. He smiled through his tears. Goodbye, Mean. Goodbye, everyone. When he turned to leave, his phone buzzed softly in his pocket. He hesitated, then pulled it out. One new message. No sender. Only a single line. Thank you for remembering us. He looked up at the sky, where clouds drifted gently across the morning light. For the first time in months, his heart felt lighter. The fear, the grief, the guilt, all softened into peace. Phi slipped the phone back into his pocket, and walked away from the riverbank, as the water behind him whispered quietly, carrying their voices, to a place where memories rest, and ghosts finally find silence.